Hey, how's it going? Stuart here across Functional Fitness on Strength for Tomorrow Radio. Thank you so much for joining me. Last week we talked about training to suit your goals. Hopefully you heard that one. If you didn't, check it out. Make sure you aren't sabotaging your progress by training in the wrong way. You want to train optimally. You want to train in a way that's getting you closer to your goals and achieving those rather than creating the opposite effect. So do check out that episode from last week. This week, we're talking about NEAT, aging population, what it means for everybody, and also why you don't have to run if you don't want to. So we're going to get right into it very soon. What's been going on here? Well, the weather's been pretty mad, hasn't it? 1 minute it's raining, next minute it's sunshine. 1 minute you're completely saturated, next minute you're getting sunburned. It's a bit mad, isn't it? It's like April showers in the middle of May. Not ideal. It's meant we haven't been able to get outside very much yet for our training, but hopefully we're going to get outside this week and next. So if we get a break in the weather at all, we will seize that opportunity and get out there. There is space in the class if you want to come and join us. We've got a couple of new starts starting, which is great to see. Some new faces, lots of old faces as well. Not that they're old, but you know, they're getting there. They're getting there. Put it that way. Yeah, check out the website and hit the link that says large group class, and there you can find more information on the classes that we're running and how you can join in. If you have any questions, do get in contact. Email me at info@crossfunctionalfitness.co.uk or on any of the social media platforms. I'd love to hear from you. So let's get going. So what is NEAT? You might be thinking of it in terms of neat and tidy, like, oh Stuart, you're not looking very neat today. That's not what we're talking about. That happens quite often. Mum used to say that to me. Bit old for it now probably, so she should probably stop saying that to me. But NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's short for that, okay? NEAT is short for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And PubMed website defines it as it's the energy expended for everything that we do that is not sleeping, eating, or sports-like exercise. It ranges from the energy expended walking to work, typing, performing yard work, undertaking agricultural tasks, and fidgeting. Fidgeting is a great word. Even trivial physical activities increase metabolic rates substantially, and it is a cumulative impact of a multitude of exothermic actions that culminate in an individual's daily NEAT. It is therefore not surprising that NEAT explains a vast majority of an individual's non-resting energy needs. So it's a pretty important topic, and it's one we haven't talked about that much. A lot of the time it goes under the radar, it's ignored, and the question is, why is that? I would say it's because it's not very exciting. All of the things that comprise NEAT, that make it up, and that could be classified under NEAT, are not very spectacular. They're not very exciting, and nobody's going to make an Instagram post or a TikTok video about it because it's just pretty boring. It's pretty subtle and not very exciting. Put it this way, this is how important NEAT is. It might come as a surprise to you, but say you're doing an exercise class today, or training, or you're going on your bike, or going for a jog, or run, or hike, or whatever. You will still burn more energy whenever you're not exercising. So say you go into the gym and you have a really great workout. You will still burn more energy that day outside of the gym. And that fact blows people's minds, okay? So this is why we often say as trainers that training, exercising is not the best way to lose weight or to get in it's not to get in shape. It's not the best way to lose weight or to burn fat. It's not the best way. And it seems like a stupid thing for a gym owner and a personal trainer to say, but it is also scientifically the truth. I'm going to say it again. Today you might burn more energy. You will burn more energy when you're not exercising. So if you're training for an hour today, you're going to burn more energy in the other 23 hours of the day. You heard that right. So before you say, why have we got a gym membership? Why do I come to classes? Why do I do those things? Why do I bother? Why do I bother getting out of bed? You should know that whenever you do intentional short bursts of intense exercise, there are unnameable amounts of benefits that come from that, and we talk about them all of the time, from bone density to your mental health to your blood pressure regulation to your immune function to strengthening your ligaments, tendons, muscles, making your body feel better, look better, perform better. There's so many different reasons. Losing weight is one byproduct, is one way to aid. You can aid weight loss and fat loss through exercise, but it will always be nutrition that's going to be the key thing. And you could maybe even throw in NEAT. If you're someone who really hates the gym and hates doing all those other things and you're just thinking about managing your weight, keeping your weight down, listen to the rest of this show. This is for you. If you think about it this way, whenever you do a 45-minute class, you might burn anywhere from between sort of 250 calories maybe to over 500 calories in that one session. Depends how hard you work, depends what weight you are, what height you are, depends how fit you are, depends how much effort you're putting in, how hard you're pushing yourself, and all that sort of thing. But on top of the energy you're burning during that class, you're also going to burn more energy at a higher rate at rest for the remainder of the day. They reckon up to 36 hours this effect happens. So if you push your heart rate up and let it drop, see how we rest, push it up again, let it drop, push it up, let it drop, over and 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 over again. If you do this all like multiple times for the 45 minutes, even less, you can still get a benefit from doing it from less, but sometimes you will be able to keep going for 45 minutes. Other times you get a bit more of a rest and you can go at it again. So Tabata training is quite a popular mode of it. So that's 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Circuit training, you're kind of working on the minute. So restarting a new exercise every other minute. There's all sorts of formats to try and do this. Weight training could even be included in HIIT training because you're jacking your heart rate up and you're working and then resting for a few minutes and then going again. All sorts of different ways to do this. So you will be able to burn calories doing this. You will be able to effectively train your metabolism. But burning energy is a byproduct of it. It shouldn't really be the goal of the training. If that's your goal, well, you have my sympathy because you're missing out on an awful lot of other really good stuff. But whenever you think about it, if you are, doing this 45-minute class, this means that you have another 23 hours and 15 minutes of that day to burn non-exercise calories. So whenever you're home, whenever you're at work, when you're getting to and from work, whenever you're playing about with the kids, taking the dog, for a walk, whatever it is you do, you will do this through lots of ways you not even think of. Breathing, digesting, they burn lots of calories. Pumping blood around your body, regulating your temperature, your immune function, your brain function, and lots of other processes like that. An interesting stat, actually, your brain alone will burn approximately 20% of your daily calories. It's not that crazy. So if your natural metabolism burns 2,000 calories per day, your brain burns like 200 of those. Sorry, it's 10%, 400 of those. Not crazy. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. So if you're a smarter individual, and you probably are if you're listening to this podcast, you might even burn more calories, right? I know I'm just theorizing here. I'm just throwing that out there, trying to butter you up so you keep listening. But so the really small, seemingly insignificant decisions that you make during the other 23 hours and 15 minutes of your day are really, really, really important whenever it comes to managing your weight and your body composition in the long term. So remember, body composition is your relationship between your body fat and your muscle tissue. Things like this, making decisions like, do you take the stairs or take a lift whenever you are given the choice? Do you stand when you're talking on the phone, or do you sit down and put your feet up? Do you lie up on the sofa? Do you sit on the couch stewing in front of Netflix, or do you go for a walk in the evenings? Do you park as close as you can, or do you park further away whenever given the choice, whether it's to go into work or go to the shops? All these little decisions, whenever you add them up, they create a lifestyle essentially. And they have a massive, massive bearing on whether your waistline will start to expand unwantedly or not. They found actually, like, our metabolism, yes, it slows down ever so slightly every single year as we get older, but it doesn't account for all of the weight gain that we all seem to put on, which can mean it's only one thing, and that is the fact that we are less active. We have less NEAT in our lives. We have less non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So I want to get into examples of NEAT and how you can start applying it to your own life and your lifestyle, how you can change your lifestyle by just being more thoughtful around these little decisions, and hopefully this will help you. As I said, they're not spectacular, so don't be expecting any light bulb moments or aha moments. It's just going to take progress. It takes time to progress. It takes patience, and it takes commitment and lots of regularity whenever it comes to doing all of these little things, because they all add up, as I will show you later on. So I'm going to give you some examples of NEAT, and as I said, they're not very spectacular. First one is simply take the stairs instead of taking the lift. So if you're in work, you're in a tower block, you're in an office, you're in a hospital, wherever it is you work, I want to encourage you to take the stairs at every given opportunity. Unless you have some sort of injury, then you can take the lift. Okay, you have my permission then. Apart from that, stairs. No other option, stairs. Leave the lift for people who actually can't make it up the stairs. Come on, be a decent person. Do the decent thing. Hopefully I've guilted you enough there. The other suggestion is that you park your car really, really far away from wherever it is you're going, whether it's to work or whether it's in the shops or wherever it is you're going. Park your car. Don't look for the near space. We all do it. We all think, oh, I'll just park really close here, like as if our lives depended on it. And we'll nearly wait to get that car parking space right beside the disabled spots or the mother and child spots to get as close as possible. We'll nearly wait there, wouldn't we? I've seen people waiting. It's crazy. But I would encourage you to try and make a conscious effort to park further away and walk. It's so unspectacular. It's literally the most boring suggestion that I could probably come up with. But if you add it up, as you'll see, I'm going to give you some stats and some data on how this can work. Another suggestion would be to use a standing desk. And again, doesn't seem like a big change from sitting, but you, believe it or not, you do burn extra energy standing than sitting. And it might not seem like a lot, but it will add up. Gardening. Get into gardening. Don't hire a gardener. Seems like a silly thing because my family have a garden centre and landscaping business, but don't don't hire a gardener. Do it yourself. Do the weeding yourself. Get out there and get stuck in, because it's another way to just get your activity level up, and your garden's going to look smashing. It's going to look really good. Give me some credit for it if you want, and then I'll pass it on to my ones. Another good one is walking about whenever you're on the phone. So if you're someone who does lots of voice notes or you're chatting all the time, instead of sitting up and lying up and trying to do it, stand up. Say your friend rings you, your colleague rings you, stand up. Even if you can't walk about, you look like a prat because you're walking about, stand up at least, okay? Don't care. Who cares what everyone thinks? You're going to be Slim Jim, you're going to be in great shape, and you're going to be leaner, meaner, and healthier. Stand up instead of sitting down when you're on the phone. Just make a little rule for yourself. Tidy a room. Seems like a really simple one, but again, there's other benefits. Your house is going to look lovely, and you're going to have burnt lots of extra energy over time. It all adds up, like I said. So pick a room maybe and just do a little bit of tidying, a bit of cleaning, washing the floor, doing the dishes. And these are all ones that pain me because I'm not the biggest fan of doing any of these things. I do like to do them all at once if I'm going to do them, but being married, there's always that kind of argument. Who does the most? It's clearly not me. I'm putting my hand up right now. It's not me that does the most of those. I do very little. I do a little bit whenever I have to. But those are all ways that, believe it or not, you can burn extra energy, and they do seem really innocuous and really they burn extra energy. How did it, like? Surely it's not that much. We're going to look at how much extra energy you can burn from a really simple little table, and this little table is one I've included in next week's class. We have a brand new class called Quick Fit, which is on Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, and Jack is heading that up in early morning, 6:15 to 7. We've had some incredible results so far. Each week we're picking a different topic, and we're trying to help them apply certain little principles and habits just to change their lifestyle, so that it's not just another transformation thing, but there's going to be a long-term benefit and application, hopefully. That's the plan. But they've lost, like, I think as a group, there's like 7 or 8 of them, and they've lost something like 14 kilos already, and there's only not even 3 weeks in, which is amazing. But next week's one is all about NEAT. I think the first week's one was calories in, calories out. We discuss at length here all the time. Then there was the importance of protein, the role of protein, and then last week we talked about planning your meals and how to do that. So the first one here is whenever you think about work. So if you think about all the ways you can burn energy at work and how you burn energy, you probably drive to work and then you take the lift upstairs, right? So that's just a simple example. For that, so for the average person, this is applying to a 60 kilogram person. It's not exactly going to be exactly the right numbers, right? But this is an average. So the calories you will burn in 5 days doing that, driving to work and taking the lift, if you drive something like 30 minutes, it's going to be 700 calories, believe it or not, in 5 days, which seems like not a lot, right? Seems like quite a bit. However, if you park at the far end of the car park and take the stairs, you're going to burn instead over 1,000 calories, 1,200 in 5 days. So there's an extra 320 calories just like that. Now, you can get the nitty gritty and say, oh, Stuart, it's not that much, or Stuart, that seems like an exaggeration, or Stuart, that doesn't seem like very much. We'll add it all up at the end and we'll see. How about that? So the next one, talking on the phone for an hour. So say you're sitting at your desk at work talking on the phone for an hour, whether it's on Zoom or whatever. 350 calories over 5 days, believe it or not. Talking. And some people have bigger mouths than others, they're going to burn even more energy. But what about, like we said earlier, talk on the phone for about an hour while walking about. You're going to burn 630 calories. So you're going to burn nearly twice as much energy. So it's 350 compared to 630. Sorry, 350 compared to 630. Next one, say you go for your lunch break and you have a 45-minute lunch break and you're sitting there for 45 minutes eating lunch. A lot of food if you're constantly eating for 45 minutes, but I've overestimated it's probably 355 calories. And instead, what you could do is you could take a 30-minute stroll and then sit down and eat for 15 minutes. So in that case, you would burn 435 calories. I think I've got my math slightly wrong on that one. I think I've overestimated the sitting and eating part, and I've probably got the 30-minute stroll one just about right. What about at home? So what you could do is you could just order a takeaway and then browse your phone until it arrives. Just sit there and browse your phone. You'd burn about 350 calories in an hour. Imagine it takes an hour for your takeaway to arrive. Or you could stand up, go to the kitchen and cook a meal for 20 to 30 minutes. And just by doing that, you would burn over 5 days 520 calories. So 350 compared to 520. Remember, all of these are over 5 days based upon. So I want you to see a little snapshot as to how effective this can be over time. You could phone a cleaner to come and clean your house, 15 calories over 5 days. Or you could tidy one room each day for 15 minutes. And that would be 250 calories over 5 days. 15 to 250. It's a bit crazy, isn't it? Next one then, getting up, taking the dog outside and just letting the dog walk about outside, run about in the garden. 25 calories. I've probably overestimated that one as well, but sure. Or you could take the dog for a 30-minute walk once every day, and that would be 475 calories over 5 days. What about in your car? Driving around in your car for 15 minutes to try and find the closest parking space, 80 calories. Or you could park 5 or 10 minutes away from the shop entrance and then walk to it, 525 calories. That's crazy, right? 80 to 525 just by walking that little bit extra. But hopefully you're starting to see the point. Hopefully you're starting to see how crucial NEAT is to our lifestyle and to our health and to our waistlines. What about what next one is driving your child to the bus stop. So it's estimating 10 minutes each way or whatever. It's going to take you a few minutes, so 135 calories. Or you could walk to and from the bus stop 10 minutes each way, 350 calories. So I've overestimated 135. I've taken out for 10 minutes. I've probably overestimated that, and I've got the other one correct, 100% spot on. So 350 to 135. It's probably less than 100 to be honest, because you're driving. It's going to be a lot less. For fun, eat dinner and watch TV. 475 calories compared to after dinner taking a 30-minute stroll, 675 calories. Sit and browse your phone for an hour, 350 calories. What about just playing a board game, doing a puzzle, doing some gentle stretching, maybe playing with the dog, playing with your kids, playing an instrument, 790 calories. And that's kind of round, that's kind of averaged, but it's a big, big difference, and it's more than double. So what does the grand total look like from all those example activities? Your total calories, if you did it the old way, just do it your current way maybe. Those are the ways, you're parking close to things, you're browsing your phone, you're not going for walks, you're just throwing the dog outside and then the walk itself, you're driving everywhere instead of walking, you're getting a cleaner to do your cleaning. All those things, it over 5 days would be 2,205 calories. 2,205 calories. Seems like a lot, right? Get this. If you did it with the examples that were given, you would have a total of 5,670 calories burnt just by doing a little bit more activity, little simple things, nothing too complex, nothing too stressful, nothing too serious, nothing that's going to get your video to go viral on TikTok or Instagram. 5,670 calories. It's mad, isn't it? It's well over double the amount of calories, and I've probably overestimated the amount of calories you could actually burn doing it your own way. It's probably about correct for the other way, but you can see how those little things, these little lifestyle habits, these little changes suddenly creep into our lives from whenever we were younger, maybe in our 30s or 20s or 30s, and suddenly in our 40s and 50s we've found ways around having to move. Suddenly we're moving a lot less. Suddenly we are just lying about on our phone on the sofa when we get a moment. Suddenly we're sitting down whenever we could be standing. We're sitting at a desk instead of standing. We're instead of taking the dog for a walk, just throw it outside and go and sit down ourselves. There's all sorts of little ways, and these things creep into our lives, and before we know it, it's just what we do. We don't even realise we're doing it. And I believe this is a massive part as to why our waistlines are getting so big and why obesity is going through the roof, as well as the food thing, because we all eat too many calories. That's obvious as well, but this is another huge issue. As you can see, a little adds up to a lot, and some of the simplest, least spectacular ways imaginable are so effective over time for burning that extra energy with very, very little effort or stress or thought. But whenever you add them up across the day, across the week, across the month, across the year, it will result in you burning off way more energy than you maybe realise. You don't have to go and do more runs. If you start putting on more weight, it's probably not because you haven't gone running. It's probably just that either you're eating too many calories or you've just been lying about more. You can figure that out. I don't know you. I don't know all about you. You know better than I do. You don't have to get in a spin bike several times per day to try and burn off extra energy. Again, unless you enjoy it, unless you enjoy running or unless you enjoy cycling. Whenever you start intentionally moving your body more in a really subtle way every day, you will reap the rewards across the year, and your waistline will thank you, your clothes will fit better, you will be healthier, you'll lose fat, you'll be leaner, and you'll probably be a bit happier as well, because your mental state is going to be better by just moving a little bit more, as much as anything. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I got a challenge for you, and a challenge to the guys in the class is going to be released next week, and I've challenged the guys in this new class is to think of ways that you can increase your NEAT activity. Think about your lifestyle. So what do you do when you get up in the morning? What can you do differently to burn a little bit extra energy? A really simple way. I'm assuming you don't have a lift in your house, but you're going to take the stairs, obviously. But are you going to take the dog for a walk in the morning? When are you going to schedule to walk your dog? When are you going to get outside and play with your kids and wrestle and do whatever? When are you going to maybe pick up that instrument and stand and play guitar or whatever? What are you going to do instead of browsing your phone? What are you going to do instead of just lying about? What are you going to do? What are you going to cook instead of ordering a takeaway? Which room are you going to clean? I want you to think about your lifestyle. How does that fit into your lifestyle? And whenever you think of all those little ways, I want you to plan it, structure it. And sooner or later it will become second nature. Sooner or later you'll not have to think about it. It will be your lifestyle. And just as the things you do now you don't think about, all those little ways you go about things that have meant you're moving less and burning less energy, that'll soon become your lifestyle, so you're burning more energy in ways without even realising it. It's so effective, and it's such an effective way to lose fat, and it's such an effective way to manage your weight long term. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know if you have any questions on that, and I'd love to help you. Or if you'd like to join up to any of our classes where we will start teaching more about this stuff and helping you more and encouraging people to do these little things. Yeah, send me a message, send me an email, info@crossfunctionalfitness.co.uk. As I said, we're putting these things out each week now for our new block class, Quick Fit, which is on every Monday, Wednesday, Friday with Jack at 6:15 to 7 a.m. If you'd like in on that for the last 4, 5, 6, I think it's 5 weeks left, let me know. Jack would love to have you in the class and to help you out. Something else I want to talk about is the idea when it comes into the summer and the late spring. Everyone thinks, "Oh, I better do some cardio. I better start running because brighter evenings." And I think people, in one sense, they think I need to do cardio because it's what I need to do to get leaner and go on holidays. Another sense, I think, is people just have it in their head because other people are doing it and see other people doing it, and they think, "Oh, they're doing cardio, so I should do cardio." It's almost like a guilt thing, right? I came across a Ben Bruno post on Instagram. If you don't know who Ben Bruno is, he's like a celebrity trainer. He trains like people like Chelsea Handler and Kate Upton and lots of celebrities in Hollywood. He's got some interesting stuff, but he had a post on here saying my thoughts on running. I thought I would share it because I concur with quite a lot of them, some interesting ones. But he says if you play a sport that involves running, sprinting, you should do some running/sprinting in your training. Practicing your sport counts too. Some, not tons. Fair enough. Makes sense, right? If you play rugby, play Gaelic, play soccer, whatever, you need to do running and sprinting, right? Kind of part of the deal. Point two, if you don't play sports and just train for general fitness, long distance running is not ideal because of the toll it takes on your joints. Some is fine, but the majority of your cardio work should be done via lower impact activities. And that is a very good point because the amount of people I've met over the years who are pounding the pavements, pounding the roads, running, and it's almost like addiction for them, right? But they've always some sort of a niggle or some sort of a knock or some sort of ache, and it's because of this overtraining, this idea that you need to do tons of cardio and that you need to break your body, basically. Now, it's not a conscious decision, but they kind of get into the mode of breaking their body. Next point says running is not a good way to get in shape, kind of like we said with the NEAT thing. Instead of trying to run to get in shape first in order to be able to run without getting injured. So his point there is, I guess, if you're really, really heavy, if you're carrying too much body fat, it's going to put more pressure on your joints. It's going to have more impact on your joints every step you take. So he's suggesting a better way is to try and manage your nutrition, your diet first before trying to start doing running. And I get where he's coming from. Now, I know a lot of people have done it the opposite way. I know lots of people have successfully done it the opposite way. And then once they started running, they suddenly got a handle on their nutrition and they were successful in that way. So he's probably not saying all these things as a rule, but more of like a bit of advice to help you stop getting injured. If you insist on running because you enjoy it, do you? It's very important to balance it out with consistent strength training, giving extra emphasis to the glutes and the hamstrings. Amen. Couldn't preach it better. If you insist on running because you enjoy it, do you? It's very important to balance out with consistent strength training, giving extra emphasis to the glutes and hamstrings. This is really important. This is really important advice, and a lot of people don't take it on board. And a lot of people think that it means just doing very light weights. It's not the case. You need to train heavy. You need to train low reps, heavy weight. Build up your form, build up your intensity of it, and try and build resilient hamstrings, strong glutes. It's going to make you a more powerful, stronger runner, and it's going to make you more robust, more resilient, more injury proof. If you're running because you think it's the best or only way to lose weight, it's not. Nutrition is the biggest factor by a long shot. Then with regards to training, think of strength training as the entree and cardio as a side dish. Again, that's kind of the perfect advice. If you're running because you think it's the best only way to lose weight, it's not. And there is this prevalent idea that running is the best way to get in shape, to get leaner, to get more toned. You should do running. And as he says, it's not. Nutrition is always going to be the biggest factor. And the second biggest factor is probably going to be NEAT for the long-term success of it, like we were saying earlier. He goes on to say then, in most cases, sprinting is better than long-distance running. Hill sprints are even better. Walking is great too. So with hill sprints, you're burning so many calories, so much energy in short bursts. But like we said, the HIIT training, sprints, you're expending maximal effort in a short space of time. Longer distance running, you're going to burn calories, like we said, during the time, but you're not going to burn any extra. It also spikes your hormones. Your hormones get a whack whenever you do sprints. Sprints are great. So quick as well, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of it, and you're shattered, and you're getting all sorts of great hormone surges. And if you ever look at a sprinter's body compared to a long distance runner's body, kind of case in point, right? And I'm not just saying any one of them, I'm saying like, look at them across the board, right? You get what you put into it. Sprinters will train heavy weights and they will sprint. You don't have to be the fastest person in the world. You don't have to say, oh, I'm not very fast. Sprinting is literally running as fast as you can, not trying to race anybody else. It's just running as fast as you can. And as he says, walking is great too. Walking is pretty easy. It's like the default position instead of crawling. But yeah. And then he goes on to say, I hate running. I don't get the runner's high thing. I think anyone who says they get a runner's high probably took other drugs before their run. But each to their own. I've got some questionable hobbies too, so no judgment. So he kind of goes off a bit of a joke. But you know what I mean? This time of the year, I think a lot of people think they have to do cardio, especially running. But you don't. If you hate it, don't do it. If you want to go canoeing, do that. If you want to go swimming, do that. But don't think you have to beat the crap out of your body by running and pounding the pavements. If that just because your friends told you that, or because someone in work told you that, it's not the case. There's lots of other options, and there's lots of other effective ways. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's more than one way to skin a cat that is going to be less painful for the cat. I think that analogy works. So the next thing I want to discuss today is the ageing population in Northern Ireland. So I'm from Northern Ireland. I live in Dromore. I am from Warrenpoint, and that's why we're talking about Northern Ireland. If you're listening to this in England, I've got a few listeners in Estonia, and where else is there? America, Republic of Ireland, and where else is there? Germany. A few listeners in Germany. I don't know how they understand my accent, but God bless you. So we're discussing the census, which was the 2021 census, and it's about a Belfast Telegraph article, and it's from Thursday the 26th of May. Northern Ireland's ageing population will inform key policy decisions. And the first results from this is from the 25th. It's the dates at the top, so the 26th. The first results from the 2021 census have been released, and they report the highest population ever recorded in Northern Ireland, 1.903 million, which is a 5% increase since the last census in 2011. The number of occupied households recorded is also the highest, which stands at 769,000, a 9% increase during the last decade. The average household size, however, reduced from 2.54 in 2011 to 2.44 in 2021. It is notable that the data collection, as reported in the 2021 Census Quality Assurance Report, was very successful with a response rate of 97%, where around 8 out of 10 people took the online option to complete the survey. With slightly more females, 51%, than males, 49%, the population is quite balanced gender-wise. Looking at the various age groups, the highest increase can be seen in the older age groups, age 65 and over, which rose by nearly 25%. 25%, a quarter since 2011. This is a significant number, especially when we look at the recent falling birth rates as reported in the census, where young children aged 0 to 4 decreased by 9% from the last census. The ageing population is one of the factors that should inform decisions on public policies in the years to come. This factor should be taken into consideration when making strategic decisions on the provision of essential health and social care services, as well as education and other associated factors. Right. So it doesn't really get into it as much as I saw another news story, another article talking about it, but it's talking about our aging population and how much that has grown to 25%. It's kind of crazy. It's something which is it's bound to be a concern, right, going forward, because I mean, what are you supposed to do about that? I mean, if there's not enough, like, the health services are already under pressure, as we've seen in the last 2 years, as we were constantly reminded of. It's only gotten worse, and as we age, we need more care. I saw a crazy stat. I think it was in America actually. This guy was talking about how much money we spend. Like, billions in the last 2 or 3 years of our lives, on medication, on all sorts of treatments and things. But what am I saying? Why am I bringing this up? Is it just to depress everybody? No. But I think it's another call to action. It's another call to the fact that we need to be looking after ourselves. We need to be taking care of our own health and taking responsibility for our health. There's obviously a line to the point where, yes, stuff happens to us in life. There's, genetics dictate that we're prone to certain illnesses. You're prone to illnesses that I'm not prone to, and vice versa. But I'm more concerned about doing whatever I can at the minute to prevent and decrease the risk of contracting whatever illnesses that I am susceptible to. And I'm not saying like you should do what I'm doing because I'm so great. What I'm trying to say is that we each have a responsibility, right? I mean, everyone was going on about how much we all should do this, stay at home, protect the NHS, blah blah blah. Like the propaganda that was around the last 2 years, right? Everywhere you've seen that message. But this aging population isn't going away. It's not like we're looking after our older people, which is fantastic. It's amazing. The ways and means we have to help people live longer, I think it's brilliant. I think life should be preserved. I think life is sacred, and it's not our decision to kind of give up on it or to just cast people by the wayside. I think it's amazing the care and the attention that we show older people and the dignity that we give them, and I think that should be emphasized and lifted up. But this is why I love training older people, because I believe so strongly in the fact that older people need to be training. Older people should be training. Older people need to be training to enhance their quality of life, but also help extend their life as well. I had a lady, one of my mum's friends, chatting to me earlier. I think she was like concerned about developing osteoporosis, and she was like, "What would you do?" And I think mum was telling her that I trained older people. I trained people in the gym here, and I said, "I get training." Like I'm not gonna prescribe medication. I'm not a doctor, but I would get training if I was in your situation and I was concerned about osteoporosis. She's like, "What, even at my age?" And I was like, "Definitely at your age, especially at your age. If you're in your 70s, I'm not sure why you wouldn't train. If you had the means and you had the access to it, it just makes so much sense. Everybody who started doing a bit of training after they've kind of got their head around how important it is, and they realise that, and we've chatted about it, and we discuss how important it is and how it makes them feel and how much stronger they feel, how more independent they feel, how more confident in their own body, even though it's aging and they can't do things that they could do in their 20s. They always say, "I wish I'd started earlier. I wish I'd done more earlier." And it's crazy here. Like from a kind of economic point of view, what is it? 2.4 is kind of the minimum. It's kind of the tipping point, isn't it? Once it goes under 2.4, that's when productivity and things like that start to go down. So it's kind of crazy that it's down quite a lot from 2.54 to 2.44, something like that. Yeah, 2.54 in 2011, and down to 2.44. So it's going the wrong direction from an economic point of view as well, and being able to sustain ourselves and being able to provide for ourselves, which is not a good sign. But it's incredible in one sense that the population is aging, but it's kind of worrying in another sense, because they think there's going to come up a certain point. And there's an Irish News article actually as well I found here. Over 65 is on course to exceed the number of children in the north by 2026. 2026, like that's like what, 4 years away? It's crazy. There's going to be more over 65s than kids. But yeah, interesting. They're going to release more details on this census in the autumn time. I think it's more to do with they call it equality statistics. So all the kind of more the stuff that doesn't really concern me. Don't really care. But yeah, the aging thing's weird, isn't it? The aging thing is something I think we should all be thinking about and taking action, because if it's going to be as high as what they're suggesting here, it means that there's not going to be enough capacity. There already isn't enough capacity. So where are they going to pluck the rest of this capacity out of in the next 3 or 4 years? We already know that there's lots of, like, the things that have happened in the last 2 years are going to increase other illnesses because they were dealing with one particular illness, and to the detriment of everybody else who's suffering from other things and contracting other things, not getting diagnosed, not getting treated. So what are we going to do today? What are we going to do? The motto of this show is train today so you can be stronger tomorrow. And you could equally say train today so you can be healthier tomorrow. You can twist it whatever way you want to, but that's kind of the point of sharing this article. I just want to throw out the challenge. How are you training your body? How are you taking responsibility for your diet and your nutrition to help alleviate pressure and to make sure that you're not, you're doing everything you can to reduce the chances of you contracting diseases and being at the mercy of somebody on the end of a ballpoint pen telling you whether or not you can get treatment or not, or whether there's enough room for you, or whether you're on their list. What are we going to do? Joke of the week time, and I've got not one, not two, but three for you, because you're bound to like one of them, right? And you deserve it. You deserve it. If you listen this far, you deserve a wee bit of a laugh. So if you think that your microwave collecting data and the TV spying on you is bad enough, your Hoover has been gathering dirt on you for years. Don't know if you know this, but my wife is thinking of leaving me because of my obsession with poker. But I think she's bluffing. Did you know that after you die, the last part of your body to stop working are your pupils? Because they die late. Okay, if you can do better, send me one in. Kate Rooney sent me one in. It was so bad that I don't think anyone else deserves to hear it. No, it was okay. I've heard loads of variations of it. It was good. It was good. Next week, back with more. And that is it for another show. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your company. I really appreciate it. There's billions of podcasts out there right now, and if you're taking the time to listen to me, that means the world to me. Do share it with other people if there's anybody you know who could benefit from learning a little bit more about NEAT, who could do with that little bit of a challenge. And challenge you, if you're struggling, if you're starting to put on a little bit of middle-aged spread, you're putting on a bit of weight unnecessarily and unwanted, you can't figure out why, try applying some of those principles, those NEAT principles like we chatted about earlier. If you have any questions on that, I'd love to help you out. I'd love to get you on the winning side of that. If there's anything I've said that you take exception to, I'd love to hear from you as well. I always love a bit of feedback, and have a great weekend. We've got a special guest coming up very soon, and really looking forward to letting you hear him. He's got a great accent. That's all I'm going to describe to you. But have a great weekend, and come on Liverpool in the Champions League. Don't forget to train today so you'll be stronger tomorrow. See you next week.